Yep, it's still right. It's one of those. Okay, so I will call the meeting of the Community and Economic Development Committee to order at 5:04 PM. I have all members present, Mary Hunt and Sonia Striggles and myself. So the first thing on the agenda is public comment. So any public comment?
I mean, no. I'll
You should say, just say your name. Just
Yeah,
so
sure, of
people
course.
can-
Bob Former, 65 Grange Park. Personally, with the agenda on the item here, I just want to make it clear to you all, it does not matter to me if this is an ad hoc. It seems like there was a lot of confusion in the last meeting, obviously.
Yeah.
I want to work with whoever is responsible for managing this process so we can do it right. What's important to me is that we make a decision, right, and move forward that way, because the only thing that's changed from when I presented the first time, the only thing that's changed is time, and that's 2 months. And it's because as a community, we didn't have a process for this established. Now I understand there is a very clear process. My only commitment to you will be the deliverables that we have. We have a laundry list of deliverables that I need to bring to the table. It'll be done on day one. So as soon as whatever committee is established to work together on this, you'll have every bit of information you have. So that's my only point is, I don't have an opinion, nor so do I deserve one, but I don't have an opinion on where this committee lands. I just want it to land.
That's nice to know. Thank you.
Okay,
Sure.
thank you, Bob. Deb, we're just being recorded, right? There's no Zoom.
No Zoom, just recording.
Okay, so there's nobody else in the room from the public, so we will go into items referred.
Oh, good. We don't have to put on clothes.
There you go.
Black that out,
That's in the official minutes. So we're gonna go to items referred, which is order 0FY064, an act creating an ad hoc TIF oversight committee for 60 to 86 Broad Street. So I will open it up to my two counselors before I say anything myself.
I would like to follow up kind of on Mr. Cormier's,
Yep.
what he brought up last time, which was like, oh, which they can't say that either, just all crazy. But so there is another there was a CED committee created by the town, Community Economic Development.
Correct.
Okay, which took the place of this CED committee, I think. And then this CED committee, they created another one that did downtown revitalization, was a separate committee. And now they're talking about perhaps asking Blythe to appoint 3 people from the council to sit on a committee to talk about just the project downtown. The reason this CED committee was created was to do exactly that. It's 3 council members supposed to take care of anything going on for community and economic development. And so my argument, and I don't know where everybody else stands, but I'm just saying, my argument is, this is why we were created. What are we going to do if we don't do the things that we were created to do? What else is being expected of us from the council if they're going to hand over downtown revitalization to a different committee, and they're going to make another committee for one project that's happening downtown, and we're supposed to be the Community and Economic Development Committee. It doesn't make good sense to me. Maybe I'm not a sensible person, so I can just put that out on the table, but that's my feeling about it. So it isn't anything personal about your project. It isn't anything personal about the other projects that are going on, which is probably one of the 3 that is here to talk about. It's just about the way that the council is set up and what it was originally intended to be and what it seems to kind of be evolving into. Because a town council committee is not the same as a town department committee. They can work together, they can explain things together, but they have different people they report to. Some report to the town council, some report to the town manager. So that's, unless that is confusing to anybody, that's all I have to say.
Without objection, I'm going to ask if David had intended to make a public comment because we just
Oh, yeah.
finished the public comment
I was going to make
process.
that motion too, just
Yeah.
in the event, yeah.
To,
So I'll second it. I was gonna make that motion to allow Mr.
Good,
Corbett
good.
to speak.
okay, so
Would like to
that
continue to
motion is
skip
made
Scott
and
back
by
up.
me and seconded by Sonia, and I'll take a vote on that. All in favor of allowing Mr. Moore to do.
Aye.
Go ahead.
Okay, what would, public comment, just a general public comment or input?
Whatever you wanted to talk about on this issue, the issue that's before us is
Just the way
an
it's-
order creating an
it's the
ad
first
hoc
thing on
TIF
the
oversight committee for 60 to 86 Broad Street. And I have on the agenda later in the agenda, talking about possible meeting topics and future meeting dates, so we can get into a rhythm. Just anything to do with this topic.
Okay. I don't wish to comment on any particular project. However, I do wish to comment on the process. I think I haven't been in attendance at any of the meetings between Director of Community and Economic Development. No, let me take that back. I have been to a couple, but never any of the meetings between the developers, proposed developers and so forth. I've had some conversations with a couple of the developers, and I don't feel as though the Director of Community and Economic Development is presenting a realistic picture of the implementation of his package that he put together and was voted in with the council.
The form-based code they're speaking.
Yes, the form-based code. I hope it works. I think probably the best one I've seen so far is Mr. Cormier's. I think he's bent over backwards to try to make revisions and so forth to make it work. But I've seen the other two projects that are currently before the planning board. It doesn't seem as though they got a fair shake in dealing with the director. I think he presented pie in the sky, and if he can produce it, great, good for them. But I am very concerned that I don't think it's representing the true,
Excuse me.
the true picture of what Bridgewater wants. We all want to see development. We want to see some sites cleaned up, no doubt about it. But I feel as though the form-based code, in theory, I guess it can work, but it doesn't seem to be, I don't know where it's breaking down, whether promises are being made, they can't be kept. People have made investments and so forth. We've talked extensively with the owners of 93 Main Street, the old Emos property. And we've, as an abutter to the 43 rear project on Central Square, we've had a lot of contact with that project. And I know the developers have to expend money to move the project forward. And unfortunately, I think they may have spent too much money for what they need to get out of it. I see a lot of problems with that. And it bothers me, it bothered me in the very beginning that there was a committee. I don't know the exact terminology, but it was a citizens review or review committee, and there were two citizens on it. They were supposed to be able to go over all the information that came in on the project and give recommendations on what should be done and what should be, if any changes need to be done. And at the last minute, Mr. Rulli pulled that back and said, hold on, we're gonna have staff from my office make the recommendations on this. And I just feel as though that's a total conflict of interest. Because it cuts the citizens out of it completely. Because he has certain overruling powers over the planning board recommendations and so forth. And the citizens are left out for lunch. So it's more the process that I'm bothered with, and not so much the projects themselves. I don't feel as though the businessmen and the citizens of Bridgewater are getting a fair shake on this. I think if things were modified a little bit, everybody could benefit by it. But meetings may have misled people as to what to expect.
David, just for the recording
Yeah.
part,
Yeah,
could you please state what your positions have been before with the town and and what you're doing now so that people know?
My name's David Moore. I was building inspector, zoning enforcement officer in Bridgewater for 20 years. I have since come back to Bridgewater and filled in as an interim building inspector. I served as the chairman of the Conservation Commission for a good 20 years. I've been involved in town government for a long time.
You're chair of the committee now.
I chaired, I'm the chair of the Historical Commission. I've held that seat for way too many years. I'd love to give it to another seriously interested historian, because it's like to spread the knowledge, spread the fun. And I'm trustee of the Fellowship Lodge, which directly abuts
Mhm.
43R. I've met with the owner, I've met with the lodge trustees, I've met with a lot of the abutters. And I don't know what else.
That's
I
great.
can say.
That's great.
I'm gonna ask for the same consideration for our fellow counselor. If someone would make a motion
So
to
moved.
allow Adeline Ellenberg to, because we passed the public comment period, so we wanted to
I
make that
see.
motion. Second,
see.
Second,
motion and second, all in favor?
Thank you.
Go ahead.
You said that it would be improved with some modifications. Could you please tell us what modifications you have in mind?
Would that be part of a discussion?
Yeah, that's more of a discussion.
I'm glad we do
Maybe
that.
future meeting topics.
We'll add it into future meeting topics, because I have that on the agenda for later.
Okay,
Anything else?
that was my question.
do you have any other, so that was your public comment?
What are the modifications recommended?
All right, for which, I don't know which of his projects you were talking about, the one across the.
So let's be careful, because during public comment, we're not
Yes,
supposed to go
okay.
back.
That's right,
Okay.
that's right.
So we will put that on as an item. And I apologize because on the agenda, we have public comment at the beginning. We don't have it at the end. I will make sure we do it the next meeting. So in case people hear something and they want to address it at the end, just like we did with the council. So back to this one, and so you have the floor.
Sure, so I have, obviously, before this idea of an ad hoc had come up, I was obviously very much entrenched in this, as it is a bit more in my wheelhouse of commercial lending, financing, the costs and the overall burden of financing a project like this. And I've taken an interest in making sure that we create a solid system here where we can transform blighted areas. And quite frankly, that is exactly what Friendly's is. It is a blighted area. It is an eyesore. Something needs to be done. We have a willing partner and a willing participant to get this done, and time simply is not on our side anymore because they've been patient long enough. We basically are starting from scratch here. We need to create a TIF district, which takes time, which Mr. Cormier has already said that has become a burden for their project as a whole. We don't want to waste time. I do think that this is a very micro issue that may need the attention of a separate committee because we're building from scratch. We're laser focused in on one item. I see community and economic development as a multifaceted committee for our town council. I saw a post the other day. I forget the gentleman who posted it, but he said, "What is Bridgewater known for?" And I found it to be a really interesting post to really start engaging with and reading the commentary. And yeah, some people said an NHL star or the 4th of July celebration. But what about Fire for Effect? Why can't this committee become a champion for Fire for Effect, Town River Landing, really getting true economic development? Having them come in, see what worked, what didn't work. Obviously, the weather didn't help for the farmer's market, but we got a farmer's market for the first time in our town in a really, really, really needed time. That's something that many community members have really been struggling to bring to town, and it happened. So I do think that this Community and Economic Development Committee can be on a very macro scale with all of the needs of the town. But because we do not have a TIF district currently, and we're starting from scratch and we're taking those building blocks, I do think it is really important and imperative, not only to Mr. Cormier's project so that we get this right and we get this right in a timely manner, but we're focused on a very micro level to ensure that the people that are on the committee, I'm even open to bringing 2 citizens on the committee. I'm willing to bring and amend from 3 council members to 5 and having it be a community involved initiative, because I feel like when you have it be a community involved initiative, your messaging is better. So I do see the benefit of both, but at this time, I would support it being an ad hoc.
So I'm going to speak
Okay,
next,
go
and then I'll go back to you. I actually respectfully disagree. I think community and economic development is specific to this. I think this would be like not referring items to the Budget and Finance Committee. I think we have too many committees. We have a downtown revitalization ad hoc committee. I think that should fall under this committee as well. And I don't see any reason. It's also illegal under our rules and procedures to have the town manager appoint an ad hoc committee. We have that on the agenda tonight as well to change. So I don't want to see another ad hoc committee. I just watched one for town manager, and I want it to be council members, maybe with a couple of citizens as well. So, Marilyn, did you want to?
Yeah, I was gonna oppose whatever is on the agenda for appointing a separate committee because that happened before. And I think this new town council is trying to get us back to what actual town council was supposed to be. Instead of having the director of CED take over and totally dismiss a council committee so that the council has nothing to say about things. And I think, I think we can be fair. I think we can understand things. You just explained a lot of the reasons why this committee would be fine to work for it. The 3 of us here can hear what you're saying, can agree with what you're saying, can move forward in a much more rapid process than we can if we wait until we go into the council and they decide to have Blythe appoint 3 people, which is an illegal move according to all of our protocol and rules. Have somebody object to that, have us have to go back and wait another 2 weeks or another 4 weeks to have something else happen before we can get started on doing anything for them. So my thought would be, why don't we do it? That's what the job description is for what we're supposed to do. We should be doing downtown revitalization. We should be doing all sorts of things that have to do with community and economic development. And that's exactly what this, to me, that's exactly what this project is. Maybe I'm wrong. I think of it as community because it's got housing. I think of it as commercial development because it's got business. It's in the middle of our downtown business. I don't know how that would be anything except community and economic development.
And I was looking forward to your expertise. I think to have you on this committee, I can't tell you whether any of the people that would be appointed have that kind of expertise.
Right.
I think you do, and I was looking forward to learning from you. Unfortunately, there's not a lot in the town code, the town charter, or anywhere about what the roles of committees are. And I intend to file legislation to clarify that, to make it very, this is specific. We know what budget and finance does, but it's actually not really written anyplace. The other committees, rules and procedures. We know stuff goes to them to check, to come back to us, but it's not written anyplace. I went through the town council rules and procedures, the administrative code and the charter, and it shocked me that it's lack of detail. So I want to see us create that. And I mean, when I got appointed, I mean, in the past, planning board seems to meet jointly with Community and Economic Development Committee. I don't think it makes sense for 3 town councils to sit here and not have the experts from the planning board or the
Yes.
experts from CED or the town planner or whoever else we need to bring in to educate us properly and get us to understand what our role is. So that's my 2 cents. So I would entertain a motion on this.
So let's see, how are we talking about moving?
We either recommending it favorably or unfavorably to the council.
I move to recommend to the town council that we continue as the Community and Economic Development Committee and do not form an ad hoc committee specifically for creating a TIF for the 60 to 86 Broad Street program.
And I will second it. Further discussion?
Is public discussion not allowed now? Okay.
Sorry. You'll get to talk about it at the council level once we get over there. So I will call for a vote. Let's do roll call just to be sure. Sonia?
No.
Marilyn?
Yes.
Mark, yes. Okay, so 2-1. Okay, let's go to items for discussion, future meeting topics. We heard one, which is what kind of modifications would we make to the existing process dealing with form-based code and other issues? So we'll put that on the list. I had said at the council meeting about the possibility of this committee also meeting with Downtown Revitalization Committee, and Mary, who is the chair of that, seems to think that that's a good idea. Because, I mean, as the downtown goes, so does the rest of the town. This is the heart of the community, so I would want to put that on a future meeting topic. And then I'm looking for other suggestions from my fellow councilors. And I will, when I do the report at the council, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this or not, but I'll take input from other counselors about what they would like to see discussed at Community and Economic Development Committee.
Maybe just encourage them to email you.
Yeah.
Just to stay timely, because I don't want people to sit there and
Yeah.
just start
Yeah,
drumming
exactly.
their fingers and have it take 15 minutes. 'Cause everybody has an idea.
Marcus, is this gonna be part of anything to, if I were gonna see another like temporary committee
Yeah.
for the council, it would be to make a temporary committee that wrote a definition for each of the committees and what they were supposed to do, so that we didn't wonder about, like, what are you supposed to do if you're on a CED that's different than if you're on.
I think each committee should write the description with the members that are on the committee and then send it to rules and procedure.
Or have rules and procedures,
Yeah.
create a formality around what the
Yeah.
committees.
Look it over, because there could be things that you could miss. I mean, things that
Right.
come up and you just didn't.
I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I want to find another town that might actually have descriptions similar to us. Or-
And I'd also like to be clear about the fact that the committees in the past always could have other people come and talk to them, not like, oh, you can't talk now because we're doing this, but people who come to actually, that you ask them to come to specifically respond to you about something you're speaking about, like the chair of the planning board, or like,
Or if you're talking about a TIF financial,
yes, people who can answer the questions that you don't have, or maybe you didn't have time to go around and find out, or you went around and found out and didn't really actually understand it. So it's better to have somebody come in whose expertise it really is and be here to give information. I'd like to make sure that that can happen to all committees. If they need that sort of exterior help, it doesn't need to be council person
Right.
who's there talking to them.
But I also think that all the committees have that liberty as it sits right now, just they're not utilizing it. Being on downtown revitalization, we've had many a person come in to our meeting. Mark and I sat on that ad hoc together to help us and guide us along, let us give input prior to public meetings so that we were able to not necessarily control the messaging, but make sure that they were messaging in a Bridgewater first way.
Mhm.
So we did outreach. Was that some of that Bob really bringing people in that we needed to speak to keep things on track? Yes. But that never once has been a situation where we haven't been able to outsource. I'd be happy to have do joint meetings with the planning board, zoning board of appeals. I would love to make sure that we are having as many cross conversations as possible, because as a counselor, your email gets inundated with concerns and questions that are happening on other boards, committees, and commissions that you're not on. And they're asking you to make certain decisions that maybe it would have been beneficial if that was a joint meeting, so that we're all aware of what's happening.
Mhm.
So I do think that we do have the leeway and the wherewithal to do those things. It's just whether or not people exercise the right to do so. Budget and finance, could we have brought in the accountant firm that does our auditing? Sure. If that was an ongoing issue and you wanted to have it be separate at that point in time, we probably could have done that. They probably would have been agreeable to it. They came to our meeting and sat there until they were able to get up and speak. So I do think that if we just enable and empower our committee chairs to do that outreach, I don't think we necessarily need to reinvent the wheel, like you said. I
Yeah.
think it's just encouraging that.
Any other topics that
Other topics.
you would like to see? This doesn't have to close today. We can always have this on the agenda.
So I noticed in the newest one, they've taken out the requirement that we be televised. Right?
I personally like to see everything, so
It used to say
the
that we
public
had to
can
have,
see it.
the former one said that we had to meet in the council chamber and that we had to be televised. The newest version, I presume this is, says all committee meetings shall be held in the Academy building unless otherwise authorized by the president, and that's the end. Nothing about being like open to the public or, you know.
It's being televised now.
It's being recorded.
No,
It's
we're
not,
just looking at that.
it's not on, it's not. And I think the whole sunshine law thing with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, that we all have to adhere to. Legislature doesn't, but we do. Okay, they can do all sorts of meetings.
The hearing that I testified to today
That was open and it was televised.
was televised,
Yeah,
so
so I would,
ultimately,
is the feeling of the committee that would like to be
I think
televised?
there should be a Zoom component. I was asked not only by Mr. Cormier, but by about 3 other residents specifically to this because they weren't out of work in time.
Yeah,
So I said, it's not on the agenda with the Zoom link, so I don't think that it is. So maybe that's just something that we take
Very
up.
easy in this room. We
Yeah.
do Zoom meetings all the time in this room.
this one was a little different because we had budget and finance following this, otherwise we would have
A
been
little
sick. So that's gonna go right to my next topic, which I'm gonna suggest that we meet on a Tuesday that is not a council meeting day. Does that work for you, Sonia? Like if we did a Tuesday night at 6, not on a council meeting night, so we're not interfering with the use of this room for budget and finance.
Yeah, I would just need advance notice of it and not a few days prior to try and coordinate. So it would be getting it on the schedule, so just so that I don't plan work.
We
That
would-
brings
we
up
would-
something that I've written down.
Go ahead, go
I
ahead.
have it written down here. A year-long meeting reservations of the room. You know, so in other words, just for the year, that we're meeting on Tuesdays, in between the council meetings at 6 o'clock, reserve this room, because you can go into the calendar and reserve this room so that nobody else can reserve this room for that time. And then it's easy to cancel. If you need to cancel, it's easy, you just cancel it. Otherwise, we know to work our schedules around it, which would be selfishly, it'd be very helpful for me to know when it's gonna be so I can plan for it instead of
Are you
figuring out,
saying to
oh,
put
well,
it
we
up
really can't
2
make
times a month or once a month? I don't,
I think let's see what happens at town council tonight.
Yeah.
Of how things proceed, because if it's not voted that an ad hoc is forming, we're going to probably need to meet 2 to 4 times a month to get this done for Mr. Cormier. And that's what I knew an ad hoc probably would need to commit to, which was also another reason why I voted the way that I did.
okay. So we don't have any other topics and we don't have citizen comment the second time. So at this point, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
No, I had something more I wanted to add.
Oh, you want to put new business?
I want you to put new business on there because I'd like to, other than like debating something that we've been debating, if we have new business, I'd like to bring it up. So that we could put it before this group,
And we can
before it goes before the council.
put it on the
See if it's-
agenda so it can be talked about
So it can
for
be
the
talked
next
about,
meeting.
right. And that's the good thing about meeting in the middle of the meetings. You have until Wednesday to get it to the town,
Council,
to our council clerk, so that it can be on the agenda for the next meeting, which you couldn't do if you met the night before. You can't put
Right.
anything on there.
okay, that's a good suggestion. Sonia, do you have anything else?
No, just to make sure that public comment is twice, just so that I know Counselor Ellenberg has some things that she would have liked to have said, so I would have wanted to give her that opportunity.
Thank you.
Hearing no further business, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Does that mean we're not going to let Councilor
Oh,
Ellenberg speak?
That's okay. I have no questions at this point.
We can't, because we
Yeah,
don't
it's on
have
the
it done
agenda.
twice.
And it's not on the agenda, so I'm fine.
But it'll be on the agenda next time.
Okay.
And you can also tell us in council comments too. Okay, so motion made, seconded, Marilyn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are out at
It's only 5:30.
5:30. 5:36.